Hey everybody, Joe Joseph here for thedailysheeple.com, and this is your news shot. I'm going to go to SputnikNews.com. That's right, those pesky Russians are at it again, trying to tell us the truth. Good grief. Says DARPA's genetic extinction research is a mistake, according to a human rights watchdog. It says here the U.S. Advanced Military Research Body, DARPA, announced that it will invest tens of millions of dollars into genetic research. Genetic extinction research, that is, while the official aim of this research is said to be fighting harmful insects. There's a significantly darker speculation about the possible use of such a tool. Now, Sylvia Ribeiro, Latin America director of ETC Group, an international organization dedicated to the, quote, conservation and sustainable advancement of cultural and ecological diversity and human rights, said this, quote, when it's developed under an umbrella of military research, you get a clear notion that there can be a dual purpose of this research. I wonder where that could have come from. I wonder where she could have come up with that. Perhaps some of the behaviors of the past, per se? Says, speaking about the official purpose of the so-called extinction technology research fighting malaria-carrying mosquitoes, she notes that even if one species of mosquitoes is eradicated, it will not influence the bacteria that causes malaria. It says the malaria bacteria will just simply find another vector. She said, so-called gene drive technology. You can find, by the way, folks, you can find, if you YouTube search gene drive, look specifically for the TED Talk on this, and you'll find it fascinating just at how unbelievable a weapon this could be, how unintentionally mistakes can be made that can cause irreversible damage, irreparable damage to the human race. And I mean fast. It's not like, okay, the Black Plague is coming. Okay, people have the Black Plague. Okay, this plague takes forever to get through. No. A gene drive, if, let's just say there's a mistake, you could feasibly wipe out the human race in a very, very short period of time. It's an unbelievable tool at the disposal of madmen. Because you got to be mad to mess with something like this and to think that humanity isn't going to find some way to make a mistake, because we do that. We do it a lot. It says so-called gene drive technologies allow for the artificial modification of the genes of a particular species, replacing unwanted genes with those that are, or appear to be, I should say, beneficial, and the modified gene is then transferred to future generations. According to Ribeiro, the UN Convention on Biological Diversity has been discussing the ethics of whether such a tool should be developed. Oops, too late, Miss Ribeiro. It's too late. You see, DARPA's already invented it. And like I said, if you look at the TED Talks, they've already used it, especially when combating Zika. They've already used this gene drive technology. So for them to say that whether such a tool should be developed, they can debate it all day. The fact is, it's been developed. It's being used. It's being deployed. Now what? Specialists speculate that if gene drive technology is to be developed, it must be done in ultra-high security biosafety level 4 facilities with the most stringent levels of precaution, possibly a laboratory on an island, as the threats such a tool poses, one which would basically spread throughout the world, and I say fast, I mean fast. It has no comparable moment in history. There is none. You can't compare what a gene drive can do to what a disease can do. And that's really the big thing to take away from all this, is that in the blink of an eye, they can remove large swaths of society. They can even take out family lines. You know, they can engineer that weapon down to that level of genetic accuracy. It says the Environmental Modification Convention, or ENMOD, explicitly forbids the hostile military use of tools that modify the environment or the ecology of a so-called enemy country. The U.S., Russia, and China are parties to that convention, and what DARPA wants to develop falls into this category. But, hey, we're the United States. We only have to come up with the rules. We don't actually have to follow them, right? The problem, it says, with the UN and the conventions it adopts is that they don't provide sufficient monitoring or prevention of such weapons. And that's because, what are you going to do? You know, a country like America comes around and they develop a weapon like this. And it's a weapon, okay? You can call it a tool all day. It's a weapon. The UN relies heavily on the United States for funding. And remember, all these politicians, all these ambassadors, everybody else, they're in it for themselves. They're not in it for you or your best interest. They're in it for their own best interest. And if the United States, if there's any risk of that funding being pulled, and I want to say that we're on the hook for 40% of the total UN funding, they're not going to go bite the hand that feeds them. Oh, they may protest. Oh, they'll give a symbolic gesture, you know, but that's as far as it goes. Just like in past wars where we went unilaterally, where the rest of the world was like, hey, what are you doing? Well, who's going to challenge us, right? That's the United States' stance on things for quite some time. It's probably going to be that way until we get our clocks cleaned. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is due to the rampant apathy that exists within our country and the fact that there's no checks and balances. And people have lost hope because those checks and balances are horribly broken. So this has an unbelievable risk associated with it, especially as it pertains to the human race and how fast it can spread. And just think about it. They're recommending that this stuff only be tested in a level 4 facility on an island, an isolated island, just because of the inherent risk it is to the human genome and other genomes. Remember, folks, it doesn't take much to break the food chain down, okay? And we don't understand sometimes the consequences of our actions, but who knows? Let's just say they genetically engineer a mosquito that wipes out the entire mosquito population. A lot of us would be singing Kumbaya for that. I hate mosquitoes. However, mosquitoes on this planet have a purpose, and sometimes we don't understand what all those purposes are until it's too late. So be very aware and very conscientious that this technology is being used and deployed right now, not in a level 4 facility, not on an isolated island, but here, now, in the United States. And that, my friends, is horrific. I'm Joe Joseph. This was thedailysheeple.com's News Shot. Feel free to comment below and visit our website at thedailysheeple.com. # Wake the Flock Up. Have a great day, everybody.